but I've got it. I know I do.
Then I don't school today.
Yeah, yeah. Took the afternoon off.
Proud of I'll call the December 12th, 2022 Carroll County Public Service Authority meeting to order. At this time, I'd ask Mr. McCrawford to lead us in the invocation and pledge.
It's all rise. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day that you've provided for us. We thank you for this gathering of this group together. Just ask that you watch over us and protect us and lead us and guide us, Lord. We also thank you for this time of year that we're celebrating. It is the time that you came to this earth and you came here to save us. And Lord, we just appreciate you so much for that. And just ask you to continue to bless us and keep us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first on the agenda is citizens' time. Anybody sign up to speak? Yeah. All right, moving on, the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Also move section A, B, and C.
All right, I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, section A, B, and C. Have a second?
Second.
All right, have a second. Are there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll start the voting with Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Jessup.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Dixon.
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right, next on the agenda is under new business is the PSA meeting. I'll entertain a motion for the board to approve it for January 9th, 2023. And that'll be the organizational and the regular meeting
Make a motion, we accept that date as our meeting date
at 4 o'clock.
at 4 o'clock. Yes, sir.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Are there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll start the voting. Mr. Jessup.
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Dixon.
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right, next, under new business, the 221 project meeting. Mr. Watson, I'll ask for you.
Okay, as of this time, we have on service agreements, 6 on Floyd and 1 on double cabin. We're expecting a few more to come in. It's about all the update we have on it at this time.
Okay.
Wait for those few, and then we've been looking at alternative ways of doing the project as far as trying to find some help.
Okay. I think I got 8 service agreements, so all of them are on, 5 of them are on double cabin and 3 on 221.
I mean, we gotta have, Mike.
I don't know if you'll have enough to fund this project. It'll have to be a project, they would like to see 50% to give you funding for it, from my understanding. So, I mean, we're not close. It'd have to be a project to be debt funded and supported by the county before you can move forward with it.
Are there any grant opportunities out there? I know we got the one, hopefully, for the Cana Sewer project.
I mean, without the participation, I don't know if you're going to be able to find a grant that's willing to do that project. I mean, you're not going to be able to do it through revenue bond, so you're going to do a
Okay.
general obligation, and then
Okay.
it's all provided by. I mean, it's a tough project to do, to be honest with you. But we'll continue to look. I mean, the next step would be to get a PER and some type of estimate,
Okay.
and then determine what the overall cost would be to the county if that's what this board would like to see us move forward on. I mean, we could get some rough numbers if that's what the board would like to determine, just a length, footage, and just a rough guess.
Are they all close, Tracy, or are they
Most of them that I have are very close, yes.
in a mile or two?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Just in that corner, rather.
Mm-hmm. I would like to get a rough estimate and maybe have another meeting and try to get possibly the ones that weren't aware of the meeting, the information, and see if we can get everybody out again and look at it again. Because a lot of the ones that I have were just from word of mouth from people that didn't know about it, but had since, I think some people had got some copies from Dana before they'd left.
Okay.
All right, are there any more discussion? All right, project updates, exit 1.
Exit 1, I was able to send out an email. We got some good news. Virginia Department of Health offered us a loan. It is 0.5% up to 30 years in order to do the project, to fund it at the amount we requested. It was, I was thinking it's about 2.6. Does that sound right? Yeah, 2.62, 2.632033. So the next step would be is we're going to set up meetings with North Carolina DOT, Virginia DOT, and then Mount Airy in order to determine if everybody's wanting to move forward. If they're wanting to move forward, then start determining engineers, and then we'll have to work out some type of service agreement in order to rates and those type of things in order to put sewer there. One good part about this project is right now we couldn't accept any more sewer customers we wanted to. I mean, we've got an issue with the plant. We've got a meeting tomorrow with an engineer to talk about what improvements could be done in order to, because we wanted to fix some of this problem we've got now at the plant prior to doing your at least 2 years to do this project. So we're going to have to fix the best we can these projects. So we're going to meet with the engineer, determine what we can do in order to solve some of these issues now, and hopefully the way we solve it will still be able to include in that plant. Right now we have some money set aside for ARPA in order to fix that. Plus we received a grant from Mount Rogers Planning District for $100,000. So we've got $1 million in pocket, 2.6 in grant to try to fix the problem there. So the 2.6 did the long term, the 1 million we'll be able to put toward, most likely we're going to have to upgrade the electricity, maybe do the pumps. I think the screen will help a lot of our issue with the pumps, but we still have to figure out what the working side of it is in order to do it. If it's right now, if I'm not mistaken, we're pumping it up every couple weeks. I think everybody knows how much problem we've had, how much the long-term fix will be, but it is still a problem. We have not received the letter yet from any type of extended consent order, but we're going to get one. It's coming.
But now, if everybody's on board, the 2.6 will get us hooked to North Carolina.
That's our part.
That's our part.
Yeah, so they divided it up into different sections, in which part of it is, we cover the entire cost from us to where it ties onto the main line, and then the price is separated out based on percentages all the way until it gets to Mount Airy.
and then we do away with the plant.
And that's something that needs to be done. It'll allow you to receive more customers. You could possibly actually develop it a little more, extend it out. Right now, we really only have, we have a little garage and we have that Love's area up there is all we have on there. And the plant can't handle what it's got. So
But it's still gonna take 2 years to get it hooked.
it'd probably take you,
At least.
I'd say at least 2 years.
And,
I
and
mean, it
we,
might not be that long if everybody's on board.
in the county, and you mentioned it, the county's been out of compliance with DEQ for
About a year,
at least
a little bit over a year.
and we've paid fines and penalties, and we're gonna get fined and penalized again, I would assume.
Yeah, I think we're about $9 grand, $8 grand,
Seven. We were
7,000 on the last fine.
And
Uh,
I've just started getting more and more complaints about it. I rode by the other day, somebody called me and complained about it, said it looked like something had blown up. That, when I went by, it looked like there were motors pulled out and laying on the ground, and
There's
just
a,
looked real disheveled.
what it appears to be is every time we put the pumps back in, they're not lasting. So we got a portable pump hooked up so that it will pump. All the sewage comes down, goes under the creek into where that pump was sitting, pours into that, and then that pumps it through, I want to say it's either a 2 or 3 inch pipe that goes into the plant. And it's getting things, I mean, you get stuff, rags, I mean, everything goes through it. And the goal is to put a screen on the other side of it before it hits that area. But we need to put it into place that it will help us in the long run. And what it'll do is screen out all the stuff that's getting into the pumps and put it into a dumpster or something like that so we can haul it off. But, you figure, everything's trying to get pumped through a little pipe into a plant, and it's running at a, pretty good capacity. The problem with the pump, with the plant, and I'm gonna give my 2 cents on, I think that we're getting, it's almost like processing straight from one sewer place. It's not diluted. By the time, it gets into a normal and it runs several miles down the road, you're having other water and all of things, and it's an easier thing to treat. This is
more like a direct line from the source.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Yeah, so when it comes out of Lowe's and the bathrooms are running and all that stuff, it's not like a household residential. It's a harder item process. And I mean,
Is there a possibility of adding water to it?
I don't know. I mean, there's I don't know if it increased, we'd have to look at it, but right in the plant there's a artesian well, I think is what it is. And there's it pumps up constantly. It runs a little bit of water up all the time, but I don't know. That's something we'd have to ask.
One thing, whenever I worked down there, and there were a lot of good people that run that sewer station whenever I was there, Donald and some of them were really knowledgeable. And one thing they always said it fit so much was the grease.
From the restaurants.
Yeah, and not enough solid. I guess.
They should have a grease
And I
trap.
do have I don't know what they have, but there's a lot of, they're just not enough. It's not.
Don't we have ordinance required? Stuff on the-
Not enough, I'm not sure on that, but I know there's not enough solids and it's enclosed. So thus far, I know like the one in Hilton,
Don't get
a
no
lot of
bugs.
places, the bugs aren't there to work and do their part because it's enclosed. And there's quite a few little stipulations. I guess, and I'm right there with Ronnie, how far is it? How far is it going to be to tie it into Mount Airy? I mean, as far as the distance of construction.
Well, we'll be tying into where the North Carolina VDOT is, and then they have to run it.
So we got to go back over under the interstate, basically, right?
Yes, we'll go down. If you're coming out from the sewer plant, you take a right, you go underneath the interstate, and there's a road to the left there.
Yeah.
It'll go out through there,
McCraw Road. Go out McCraw Road.
and it'll be force main.
It'll have to be up the hill.
Well, there's a way that you can do part of it force main and then part of it gravity fed. but it was going to almost more than double our cost. So you're better off just
Just
put a
doing
line.
force main all the way?
So if we're gonna be 2 years, how does that grant work? You know, once we put it into play, then we can have the grant as we're moving forward with the project. It's not something that we would take a chance of losing that funding source at that rate later on, right?
We're going to use that grant for the upgrade of the pump.
Yeah,
and the
and we need to
electricity.
know the duration of how long we have.
Well, this is a VRA loan. What they'll do is they'll go out and advertise for a loan. They'll get you the loan, then you'll start. Generally, you'll start making your payment after you complete it. And what they're doing, they're giving you grant money to buy it down to that interest rate. So they're not getting that interest rate at 0.5%. What they're doing is taking their money as
Yeah,
a grant.
But
to
I'm fine with
finance.
that, but once we start the project and sign off on that, then we're locked into that right there for 30 years, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, their interest rate won't go up.
all right. Then I guess my other question is, how much sewage goes through that facility? Do we have any idea?
30,000.
Yeah, they, well, it's permitted for 20 a day, 20,000
Yeah.
a day. But the thing is, what happens is we get the majority of it at one time,
And we
like on the
can't-
weekends.
yeah.
That's what the problem is. We're not going over what it's permitted for.
Right.
It's just how it comes in, it just can't process it.
Whenever they pump it twice a month, how much do they pump? How much can they haul?
I'm not sure how much R&R pumps each time, how many. I'm not sure what size their tank is that they have.
I know we're looking at 2 years projected to get it done, but I really hate to see us spend a lot of money on upgrading this. If there was some way we could move forward to make,
That's what I was saying. If we
Yeah.
could just pump it once a week, we can just take it up to Fancy Gap, top of the mountain, and put it in our sewer line. Or-
Well, we can't do that. Our permit says it has to go to the city of Gala.
that answers that.
Yeah,
Well, it would be going to Galax. Oh, that
it would
will.
be, but,
For now, it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Got it.
but, well, I think what you were talking about is probably the Mount Rogers grants. See, we have that
Yeah, the
grant.
Mount Rogers.
And that's what, when we meet tomorrow with the engineer, we hope what we can find out is what we can spend that on, because that does have a date of June 2024.
Okay.
That whatever we can do to upgrade the power, upgrade the pumps, maybe get in compliance, but still that pump, because we're going to have a pump station there. We'll have to have a pump station there anyways, that it could
Yeah.
be the same one that we would use to go,
to do as our
Yes.
force main.
right. So
Gotcha.
that's what
Well,
what we're looking at.
That arises another question. If that's the way it's set up, it's got to go to Galax. Then what's going to transpire when we turn some of it the other way? At that point.
Well, that's just,
It's just when we pump it, it has to go to Galax, not when
Okay.
we will have to get our permit.
So when we
We'll have to
pump it
be
out there,
reviewed
it
and
can-
everything.
If we're not pumping out there, we can send it to.
Well, we'll have to get that approved by DEQ, but I don't think we'll have a problem because
Okay.
since the funding's from them. So
Okay. All right.
And I would just add to it, if it's going to take us 2 years, what do we do with those citizens who have grown weary with the issues that surround it?
we're going to keep trying to fix them. I mean, we can't wait 2 years. I mean, what you're going to do is everything runs forward. I mean, you're 6 months on design, it's all on how much construction it's going to take. I mean, that's the reason why I say it might take a year and a half, might take 2.5.
Can we go ahead and start the process on getting the design and getting the engineering?
That's what we're going to do. That's
Okay.
the reason why we're trying to set up a meeting. From my understanding, VDOT's definitely on board. I would think the other ones are too, but we're going to set up a meeting so we can all sit down. You're going to have to determine if we're going to use one engineer, how we procure it. You're working with 2 states,
Mhm.
2 different divisions of the state. So, I mean, local government unfortunately takes time. If we could pull the trigger and just spend the money, I could probably get it done quicker and faster. But you need to follow the rules and do everything. And they're going to require, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me you're not doing historic resources and all the stuff that goes along with it. It'll take some permit. And also, one of the things we need to look at as we're going down and we're starting to generate what kind of savings we'll have by running it to Mount Airy instead of processing it through the plant, different type of costs that's involved in it. We also, with the ARPA funds that we were using, the redistributed ARPA funds that we have, it's about 900,000. So we need to look at, is it better on cash flow or long-term debt to pay off pay off a few that are maybe 2 or 3%, and that way that we can save on cost. If we pay this, if you take one that has a 0.5% interest and you put that money down on it, you lower that payment, but you only got a 0.5% interest on it. We have some that are 2 and 3, 2.5% or something like that you could possibly pay off, and that would generate more cash flow in order so that you can keep rates down and also have a better way to spend your money.
But ultimately, operating costs is going to be a big chunk towards making a payment,
100,000 a year, isn't it, about it?
Yeah, it will definitely.
I mean, you're going to be able to make your payment, but if you're going to go ahead and was going to put this money buy it down, why not take that money and pay off some other debt that we have in order
With a higher interest rate.
Yeah,
with the highest
I see what
interest
you're
rate.
saying, yeah.
So there are some decisions that need to be made. We need to spend the 100,000 that we received from Mount Rogers, but it's designated on fixing the problems with the plant. But you don't want to waste the money. You want to put the money where the long term, if you go in there and do all the improvements to the building or whatever you're going to do, you're going to do away with it. So you need to make those. If it's upgrading electricity, we'll probably have to have 3-phase for a pump station anyway. But we need to strategically put it where the pump station is going to be, and then replacing the pumps in that. We need to make smart decisions with the money.
But looking forward to that, it opens up opportunities for us to have new businesses at that exit. And that's the way we have to look at it. There's no doubt that it needs to be done. We need to get it.
Yeah.
But that still didn't answer my question. What do we do for those citizens who've grown weary with it? When I've got a citizen who says my dog goes out to the bathroom, comes in smelling like sewage.
Some days I absolutely believe it. And we're going to keep trying to fix it. We went through the consent order last year. We had a list of things that we were doing in order to fulfill the consent order, okay, the things that we're doing. And then that's when we put the money aside to say, okay, listen, we're going to fix this issue. And then we found the way to connect them all together, because this connection was talked about years and years ago, and it fell out. So the answer to the question is we're going to, we know we're out of line. We're going to talk to the engineers and see what it takes in order to fix this. Their recommendation right now is upgrade the electricity, upgrade the pumps, and do some work on the inside of it as far as the different pumps. That's the only answer. We're going to chip at it as much as we can. We're not going to not fix it, but I'm just saying we need to spend the money smart too. It'd be in a creek. Yeah, it's what it is that if you ever looked at the creek down there, it's just it's a trickle path. And what it is we are putting most of it in it. So percentage-wise, it's like if you had a straight pipe into a creek, you'd never know it, because creek's as wide as this room. This one is, so it's just, it must be. We're going to try to fix it. There's nothing. I don't know of another answer I can give you other than we're going to try to make it so that the water should be coming out clean. I've been down there myself and saying, and it's bad. It needs to be fixed, and we're going to work on it.
I have a question. Does VDOT have their own sewage system down there? So would they be willing to pay, because they may max that out in the future? I mean, they should be willing to pay something to,
What the plan is we're gonna get rid of ours. VDOT's gonna close theirs down, NCDOT's gonna close their down, and we're all gonna send it one direction. And we're all paying a percentage. The total project's like 11 million, something.
okay.
This one's 8, the other one was 11. So this one's $8 million, so each one of us is paying our part.
Gotcha.
So they really, VDOT is going underneath the road, they're gonna go to the other side, and then you run right into NC, and then we're all picking up the cost going down. There's a breakdown in the application, I can send it to you. It shows how much each one of us pays based on cost.
So them two would probably definitely be more than us then if we're two, or is it about the same always?
Well, we're force mained all the way from our plant to North Carolina side. North Carolina's just gonna tie into a pump station down there. And the NC's gonna go, VDOT is going underneath their own road.
Okay.
And then,
Gotcha.
so, and then it runs, I could be mistaken, but I don't think it's running on VDOT right away on 77. It's going to be off of it because there are some questions about maintenance and those type things. You know, if you run it along the interstate, then when you go to work on the interstate to do any work, it's tough.
Yeah.
And so I would guess, I can look it up, but ours is 2.6 out of the 8, so we're almost a third of it, I guess, somewhere around in that range, a little bit less.
Of course, they have the same issues, some of the same issues.
I was gonna say, they've gotta have the same,
They do.
not enough solids, too much liquids.
Mm-hmm.
They want out of the package plant business.
Actually, if you go to look at, we drove down to VDOT's, met the guy there, and they are doing, they've got a basin there that catches it when it comes in, so they slow down the speed of it and those type things. And that's what we thought we were going to have to do with this one. You build a basin, you pump it comes into the basin, and then they're treating it, and they actually put, I want to say they put chlorine in it, and then they have to get the chlorine out of it in order to treat it and stuff. So I just think it's a huge expense for them also. They're paying operators to operate it.
Do you want to go on down through the list of the project updates?
Yes. In your package, you got the general updates that we do on an annual basis. They're pretty much the same as always. Exit 1, this is our the sewer plant itself. The first part was the project, a regional project. I think we discussed the exit 1 and that the opportunity to do away with it, and we are definitely going to try to fix that issue. I do feel for the people that are having those issues. It is definitely an issue that we need to work on. Search grant, we're still waiting on the engineering report. SCADA, we're still waiting on design. And Hillsville Sewer, from my understanding, they tried to pressure test it today. They're going to try to do it again. They keep blowing the plug on the end off. Thinks it's because of the air. I received a draft agreement for us, between us and Hillsville, in order to have a contract between both of us. I'm gonna forward it to them tomorrow, I hope, so that they can have their attorneys look at it. It's a good sign that they're blowing off the plug, because at least you're getting pressure in the lines. Which Hillsville bought a plug to do this with, which was very, very good for us. Water sewer grants, you have in your packet an update on it. There was 103 applications. The EDA has approved all 100 that we had money to approve, leading 3 more that we don't have the funds for at this time. 64 of the meters been set, 9 sewer connections were made. Staff did 18 of the water connections, which Bowman Griffin helped us out. They did 46 of the water connection, 9 sewer connections. So far the PSA has reimbursed us for 204,000, which that leaves 96,000. So good project. When time gets over, you're going to have 100 new customers. So it'll increase our revenue about 40,000 a year. No questions on that. We have Blueberry. It's finished now. All the meters are in, and we will start billing this time. We were waiting until all the customers are in before we started billing, so they'll receive their actual billing at the next billing cycle.
How much they gonna change the money compared to what we was doing?
What it was before now,
Yeah.
we can check that.
Yeah.
That would be good, interesting to know.
There's some of them use them quite a bit, and we went ahead and sent their bill at the 2079, but we let them see how much they've used since.
Okay.
So some of them may slow down.
That's what I was gonna ask you for the ones so last month they just got paid, but the meter reading, I guess y'all had to go and start them at 0 even though we had water for a few months? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that way, some of them don't, even though everybody got a bill at the same time, some of them might get 300, some might get 20, so it would be.
See what they use from the beginning.
Okay.
Some of them the ones that's had them in for a while have been able to see that each time.
Okay, but, okay, so they're being read, you're just not gonna start actual billing for them till a month, and it'll be for 30 days.
When we read this time, it'll just be 30 days.
Okay.
So we'll be able to see the difference at the next meeting.
Okay. Are there any old business to discuss? All right, authority members' time, I'll start with Mr. Jessup.
I haven't really got anything. Just thank everybody for what they're doing. Everybody have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Okay. Mr. Collins?
I don't have anything further.
Okay. Mr. Hill?
Yeah, I was just thinking about down Duxbury. If we just did maybe a small tank or medium-sized tank to serve those people, drill a couple wells, rather than running the water line. In the future, we would do that, but if that would be one way we could do a project that wouldn't cost as much maybe, but still serve these folks. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know what the
Can
cost
we,
of that
I can fix it if we go in closed session a little bit. I know how to fix it.
would be.
All right.
I make a motion, we can go in closed session in reference to
All right.
whatever.
We got the water.
What number?
It's what would that be?
I don't,
It'd be a project thing, discussing a project.
Yeah, I do. I'm going through it. I guess it'd be real property for a public purpose of the disposition of public held
Contract.
real property.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Contract.
because we don't need this out yet.
All
But
right.
I can fix it.
I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session under A3. Have that motion? Have that motion, have a second?
Second.
All right, are there any discussion? All right, hearing none, I guess we're
Second.
All right, I'll start the vote with Mr. Jessup. I'm just come out and close, back in open. Okay, Ronnie, Mr.
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
and I vote yes. All right, now I'll ask the certification that we spoke only what we went into closed session, which would have been under Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A3. I'll ask for a certificate or a motion.
So move.
All right, I have a motion to have a second.
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 All right, I'll ask for certification. Mr. Jessup, Mr. Collins,
I so certify.
Mr. Hill,
I so certify.
Mr. McCraw,
I so certify.
Mr. Dixon,
I so certify.
and I so certify. All right. Was you done with your authority members' time, Mr. Hill, or did you?
Just wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Okay. Mr. McCraw?
I'd like to thank staff and for what they're working on and the things that they're helping us with, and wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
All right. Mr. Dixon?
Just thank staff for everything you've done. I would like to maybe possibly look into the other 3 applications we've got, if we can maybe find funding for we've got 100, but there's just 3 more. So I think that's a great opportunity and a great thing that everybody's done. So I appreciate it. And everybody has a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
All right. And I do have one thing that I would ask if Mike and Dana would help me with. I'm getting a lot of phone calls down there at Sylvata Smith, that little road that comes off of 100. You know, it's a half a mile section. I don't think there's nothing. We have water line, but there is a lot of interest right there.
Quick Drive,
Huh?
Quick Drive, is that it?
Yeah, a lot of it right there. Could we might try to set up something there at the law or Sylvatus Rueton building and see if we have any interest right there? I think that project would probably be more than enough to pay itself.
Now, Sylvatus, the building has it now.
Yeah, it's on down there, you know, where you go up there and you turn down and go down. You'd be like going down toward Hiawassee down.
Oh, on down.
Mm-hmm.
Where they remodeled that White House?
Mm-hmm. Right through there. And we'll get to try to get a meeting set up maybe there at the Rueton building there at Sylvatus and get a letter out to the ones around there and see what interest there. I think, you know, I don't know, I haven't been there and see door-to-door houses, but I think a half a mile there might connect our water line right through there.
You're talking about on the right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think I have the.
It's Sylvatus Smith is what it is.
Oh, okay.
Sylvatus Smith Highway, right there. We got water on that road, and then it's one little section there that just not. Just if you might would work on it and see what we could do on that.
Okay.
And I'd be willing to ride down there and,
I don't think I've been out that way in a while.
yeah, so just let me know. And other than that, I just thank staff and the guys out there. It's starting to get cold, and they not got a job that anybody envy, and appreciate what they're doing. And Dana and Mike for all y'all's work and the office staff, and wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and hopefully everybody have a Happy New Year. And like I say, I think this year's been very successful, and appreciate all the board's time that they've put in to being here and help make the decisions to help the citizens with water and sewer. With that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I so move.
All right, have a motion to have a second.
Second.
All right. I'll start the voting with Mr. Jessup,
Yeah.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
and I vote yes.